College Football 26 has been out for about 2 months now, and I thought this is a great opportunity to rank my favorite stadiums in the game so far. I feel like I've played enough games across the country in a variety of different stadiums. I think I've probably played in close to all of the stadiums at some point so far this season. So why not rank my favorite ones just based off of vibe, feel, stuff like that. I think my list is going to make some people angry. There was no specific criteria to decide this list. It quite literally is based off of feel, based off of vibe, but I think these are the top 12 stadiums in College Football 26. Without further ado, let's start with number 12. Folsom Field, home of the Buffaloes. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that their brick structures look so freaking good. And I don't know what it is about this specific stadium, but I love that it has that little hill in the back of the end zone that you can kind of see the buildings and the mountains over top. But it's this brick stone structures that kind of lines the outsides of the stadiums that I love so much. In terms of size, I feel like it's a really good size. Like, you don't feel too super overwhelmed. You don't feel like it's too small, like there's too much empty space. But really, it's the architecture behind it. I just think it's so cool how they've incorporated all of this and how it looks in the game. Like, this end zone, not huge in stands, but it looks so cool. Playing here at night specifically is a lot of fun. It just has this certain vibe about it that I just mess with so much. Next up, number 11, War Memorial Stadium. War Memorial will always hold a special place in my heart, and I really don't know why. I've never been there. It is a place that I do want to go, but other than watching it on TV, I've never even done a dynasty here. But every time I would start one in the Mountain West, I would always circle when I would go to Laramie, Wyoming to come to this stadium. It's a combination of the end zones, the way that they are painted. It's the end zone field and openness of it. It's this building for the athletic center right here. Everything about this stadium just works to perfection. They don't overdo it. It just feels right. The stands are just big enough, right? You're not, like I said, you're not overdoing it. But the trees in the background right here, the big video board, everything about this stadium screams Mountain West, which I love, but it also just makes you feel like you're playing football in the heavens. It really does give you that kind of vibe, and it's why I love it so much. It's one of my favorites, always has been, and I'm pretty sure it always will be. There's no reason for it to not. It does everything so right. Number 10, Lane Stadium. Yes, being able to enter Sandman and seeing the stands shake and everybody jumping is a little bit of a reason why I love this stadium. The other reason that I love this stadium, and I'm not showing it in the video right now, but the way this place looks at night is amazing. It truly is an out-of-body experience to go to Blacksburg, to go to Lane Stadium at night, see the visuals, feel the vibe of the fans, of the crowd. It is amazing. But the actual stadium itself just has an overall really cool structure. You know, the reason that college football is so special, in my opinion, and why I enjoy it so much more over the NFL is that every place feels unique. It feels like its own self. And when you look at Virginia Tech, it just got this vibe of, you know, when it's rocking, it is so tough to play there. But it as a home team, it's like the way that the stands are built, it just feels like you have everybody behind your back and in your corner. Like they do it so well here. The kind of bowl shape, but it doesn't feel so much like a bowl. It's up. It's got this grander feel. Everything about it just feels so awesome. And I love the way that the second decks kind of build on each other in the end zones, and they feel like, you know, they just add more sustenance to the actual stadium. And the background of the stadium is just really cool as well. All the buildings popping up, the trees. I just think it's awesome. Number 9 may surprise a lot of you. Peden Stadium. Am I a little biased? I don't know. You tell me. Does my degree say Ohio University on it? Yeah, it does. But that doesn't make me biased. It just means that I firsthand experienced how cool this stadium is. And I think they did a really good job encapsulating it into the game. I think that Peden is one of the most unique stadiums in the entire country, and you can kind of get a look at why in this 360 view. Obviously, in this end zone that we're kind of seeing, you have campus in the background behind the Sook Center. Yes, I know everything about this specific stadium, again, because I went there. Being able to see the campus in the background and see the Convocation Center, I think is so unique and so cool. They even have the tunnel coming out of the locker rooms. The hill is one of the coolest things in college football. People will sit there during the game. You obviously see the Hocking River in the background. It just has this, in terms of stadiums, like there is such a disparity between these big, grand pillars of college football, coliseums, if you will, the colossal structures. This is not one of them. I just think when you talk about Group of 5 stadiums, having the backdrop that this does, having the sideline stands be as distinct as they are in the 2 corner stands that they have, on each side of the Sook Center, it just looks so cool and so unique. And then the hill is what really sets it apart for me. And it might not seem like a big deal to you guys, but it just adds so much character to the actual stadium. I love it. What can I say? And again, I might be a little biased, but I think if you have an eye for this type of design, you will see what I'm talking about. Next up, Husky Stadium. This is one of the few stadiums that I don't think this game does justice, and it's because it's really hard to. If you're not familiar with where Husky Stadium sits in relation to geography, then you're missing out because it is essentially right on the lake, and you'll get kind of an idea as we go around of what I'm talking about. But my favorite thing about this, other than the backdrop of the softball field, the soccer field, and then Union Bay, it just does not get more scenic than that. But the canopies on this stadium, creating this overcast, kind of like Century League Field does, or whatever it's called now, makes it so unique and so cool. And in real life, it actually helps keep sound in the stadium, right? It allows for the sound to bounce off of that and come right back down onto the field, making it seem louder than it actually is. Maybe it is that loud. I don't know. I've heard some very impressive things about this stadium, and those people up in the Northwest do know how to get loud. I'll pan up here in a second so that you can see. It just kind of, it does have a little bit of a soccer feel, but I think that they do it so well. And you can see out that way is where the bay would be, and just it adds such a unique feel. And I think being in the Pacific Northwest, playing into having those lakes, having those bays, having those trees everywhere, I think it does such a good job. When you're actually on the field, it just feels so large, even though it's not. Like, it's not a big stadium, but it feels that way. And I think that is the unique thing that it does really well, that I love so much about it. Number 7, the Mecca, Bryant-Denny Stadium. This place feels larger than life. When you add in the rich tapestry of history that it brings to the table, it is hard not to get excited to come in here as a road team and play. Even if you're Alabama itself, having all of that behind you, calling this your home is something that is just so special. But from the road perspective, it just feels like such a hostile environment. Everything that's baked into it, the fact that it is Bryant-Denny Stadium, that it is the home of the Alabama Crimson Tide, but that the way it is built up, it just makes you feel so small. And as a visiting team, it is very overwhelming. And I think that is what's so cool about it. And especially when you get to the end zones, their stands are right up to the back of those end zones. And it can add such a cool element of fan involvement. And I feel like it just is so cool and iconic playing in this stadium. Every time I get a chance to, I love it. I have such a good time. It just is so fun. They've got that kind of canopy feel up top, which helps keep the sound in, right? But the way it stacks on itself, it just makes it feel so grand, right? It's that grandeur that we're talking about that some of these stadiums have that just set them apart from others. And I think that's what Bryant-Denny does so well and why I love it so much. Number 6, the Swamp, Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. My favorite thing about this stadium is the fact that they made everything orange. It just makes it pop so much. And honestly, it's a little bit intimidating when you go in there as a opposing team. It's like, okay, they love orange way too much, even though it seems like blue is their primary color. I don't know how this makes a ton of sense, but as you can see, they love their blue and orange colorway, and it shows in the stadium. The way that the end zones are stacked on each other in that deck feel, that 3 decks, it's just so cool. And my favorite thing about some of these stadiums is that they are so old and they're built on the foundation. You can kind of see where they had that bowl structure and then have built out from that, built up. There's another one we're going to get to later in the video that it does that so well, and it's so cool to see. But they're not super flashy. Ben Hill Griffin Stadium it doesn't do anything that's like super special. But the way it sits and the way it's just there and the way it makes the opposition feel, I love playing here. It feels like you are in the Swamp, and that is the best way to describe it. And I think if you can make your stadium feel exactly like what you call it, you're doing something right. I love playing here so much. It's just so fun. They do it right. Number 5, the Big House. There's a reason they call it the Big House, and it's because literally it seats 110,000. You feel that when you step on the field. What is different about Michigan Stadium than a lot of other stadiums on this list is that they are a bowl. They have not built up. Instead, they have built out. It does make it feel a lot smaller than it actually is when you're on the outside. When you are in the middle of that stadium, it feels massive. Right? It just feels like you are at the bottom of this endless pit staring up at 110,000 people. And I love the brick siding on the outskirts of the field level area. It just adds such a historic feel to the stadium. I think that the media boxes, the way that they span essentially from 1 yard line to 1 yard line, it feels so grand. Everything about this stadium feels amazingly big. Just that grandeur that we talk about. The scoreboards are massive, and you feel that when you're on the field. You look up, and it's like this scoreboard is 100 times the size of me in the scoreboard that I'm coming from. But I think my favorite thing about this stadium that is unique in college football, because not a lot of stadiums have it, is the bowl feel. You are constantly surrounded by opposing fans if you're a visiting team. There is no escape. And some stadiums, right, you have that small section like we saw with like Colorado. If you go to one end zone, you have a small group of people. You don't get that reprieve here. Everywhere you are on the stadium, on the field, I should say, you are being berated by fans. Now, it doesn't have the same loudness as a stadium like Washington because it is built out. It is not built up. So the sound does escape. So, well, in real life, it's not that loud. In the game, it gets just as loud, and it feels like you're being suffocated at the same time. So it's just such a cool stadium. If you ever have a chance to go and see it in person, I highly recommend it. It is amazing. We're going to Rocky Top. Number 4, Neyland Stadium. So we just talked about the Big House and how it was built, right? Well, Neyland Stadium seats about 96,000 people. Maybe it is over 100. I think it actually might be over 100, maybe in that 106 range. I think it's the third largest stadium in the U.S., but it is built on top of itself rather than out. So you really do feel the massive nature of this stadium. I mean, when you look at how this thing was built initially, you see the lower bowl, and then they had to build on top of it, and it's created this second deck. And then the media press boxes are just insanely huge on top there. But it just feels so big. And then when this place is checkerboarded, it is one of the coolest atmospheres in all of college football, especially playing as an opposing team here. Don't even get me started. I'm almost like sweaty palms playing in this stadium in those kinds of atmospheres because it just feels larger than life. It feels like not only am I trying to take down a team that is way better than mine, but I am trying to take down 108,000 people that are actively rooting against me. And that is what this stadium does so well. It just feels larger than life. And I love it. The Vols on the top of the outside of the stadium. It's just every little detail is such a cool touch. You see the brick on the bottom as well, the same as the big house, but it feels so cool to be in this stadium. The video boards aren't huge, but they don't need to be because the rest of the stadium is. And Neyland is just one of those places. It is one of those places. It's just special. Number 3 is definitely going to surprise. Lavell Edwards Stadium, BYU. If you saw that opening shot and didn't immediately get chills, we can't be friends. I don't know what to tell you because this stadium is one of my favorites. That's why it's number 3. One of my favorites in this entire game for the specific reason of the backdrop is so beautiful. Having the mountains in Provo right there, it just adds so much feel to this stadium. And honestly, I love the way the stadium is built. It's so unique. I mean, just look at this backdrop. It is by far the best backdrop in this game. And I really want to give the devs credit here for making it look so cool. Because it honestly, I every time I see it, it's like the texture, they really did such a good job making mountains in the background to make it feel like Provo. And I do want to give them flowers there. But I think that this stadium is very interesting in and of itself because it is built into 4 separate sections. A lot of stadiums that you see will be built into 2 sections, or there'll be 1 section like we've seen with Michigan, like we've seen with Tennessee. Some will be 3, like I mentioned. There'll be a U shape, and then they'll have, if you do Ohio State, they are a U shape, and they've got one of the end zones is just one building. This is 4 separate sections of stands, and it really makes it feel cool, in my opinion. Like I just think that having all of these solo sections gives it this, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but it gives it this unique characteristic. And when you're driving into the end zone as an opposing team, it feels very hostile. And I don't know how else to explain it other than that. Like, it just looks, in my opinion, really cool. It feels really cool. Like, it's so unique and special. I cannot get over this stadium. I love it so much. Number 2, Happy Valley Beaver Stadium. Beaver Stadium is kind of the perfect conglomeration of all of the stadiums we have talked about. It has that old school feel, but it also has that new school grandiose that makes it feel like with Tennessee, like I kept saying, larger than life. It really is a colossal pillar of the sport. If you've never been there, you might not truly understand how big it feels. And it's hard to comprehend in the video game, but look at this stadium. It just gives off this massive, massive feel. But this was the stadium I was talking about where you can see how they've built on itself over the years. They now see it like 109,000, And believe me, you feel all 109,000. Like, it is no joke playing there. The whiteout is the best atmosphere in sport for a reason. This place gets absolutely insane. And it has to do with the way that it is structured, the way it is built. You can see all of that space in between the first and the second deck in the end zone we're looking at right now. That is space for sound to travel. It's not right on top of each other, so it allows it to boom and echo. And it just is such a special place. I've been here as an opposing team. I've been here as an opposing fan. This place just has some sort of feel, and they've done such a good job capturing it in this game. I feel like it's at night, it is by far the best atmosphere. I think it'd probably be them one, and then Lane Stadium number two if you were to rank it solely by night. But I think this one holds up in the day so well too. Beaver Stadium is just so unique and special. I mean, the press boxes look freaking phenomenal. It's just such a cool stadium, and that's why it's my number two. Before we get to number one, honorable mention, the Cotton Bowl. The reason why the Cotton Bowl doesn't make the top 12 list is pretty simple. You can only access it in-game if you are playing the Red River Shootout. That is the only way you can get to this stadium. But the fact that you can get to this stadium and it is in the game shows how much the developers care about trying to give us those unique things that make college football, right? This stadium has stood for so long, and it is the meeting point for one of the biggest rivalries in this sport. And there's a reason that it's a neutral site game. This stadium has that much pull. And it doesn't seem like it's that special of a stadium, but the rich tradition, the history that is baked into this stadium, the time of year that it's happening, what is going on in the community around it. But it does look so cool. It is one of those older stadiums that has that oval shape on the infield. And you feel that, as you get closer to the end zones, it starts to compact and constrict, and the fans get closer. It's so cool. Like, this stadium is a relic of the past, and it's able to carry that timelessness throughout the ever-changing landscapes of college football is one of the things that make it special, right? It's kind of like the old Orange Bowl. If that was still around, that would be a place that people flock to because it is a snapshot of what college football once was, right? We're going into such a weird future that we start to forget where the sport was, even a couple of decades ago. But this structure, this stadium holds so much history, so much tradition. And that is one of the reasons I love it. It's so fun playing here because it does have that once in a lifetime type feel because of the stakes of the game and how you can access it. It's so much fun to play here. If you haven't been able to yet, I highly recommend it. And finally, we get to number one. And if you love college football, this should be no surprise, the Rose Bowl. The game that's played here once a year is appointment television, not because of the teams that are playing in it, but because the Rose Bowl, when it's full, is the single best venue in all of sports. And I'm saying that with my full chest because I wholeheartedly believe it. I think what UCLA does with that place is a disservice to college football. It's disgusting. It's gross. The fact that they don't fill this place up because it is a mecca of this sport. When we talked about the Cotton Bowl, we talked about history and tradition. There is no place that has that more than this stadium right here. And while it's not big, it's not this grandiose structure. It holds so much character. It holds so much power in its walls and seats that this could not be anything but number one. It is truly my favorite venue in all of sports. And why wouldn't it be if I think it's the best, right? But when this place is full and you are playing in the Rose Bowl, there is no better feeling. That is why they call it the granddaddy of them all. Because this game, this venue, are one of one. They are so unique and so timeless that you can't duplicate it. You just cannot find this feeling elsewhere. And that is what sets it apart from other college football stadiums. You can have your Saturdays, you can have your checkerboards, your whiteouts. You will never, no matter how hard you try, reach the level that is achieved on New Year's Day at 4 p.m. every single year. Without fail, it delivers. The atmosphere, the venue, it does not get any better. This stadium is my favorite stadium in this game because of that. And I think they've done a really good job incorporating that into the game, that feel. Like you truly feel like you're playing at the Rose Bowl. It's just amazing. There's no other way to describe it. That is all I have for you today. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to the channel. It goes a long way for me. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Catch you on the flip. See ya.